So, it's been a minute. Hey everyone, Sunny here. I hope you guys are having a good 2023 so far. How do you like the new background? I thought I'd update the old checkerboard background. You know, I haven't used it in forever. And since we're on the topic of updating stuff and changing things, what's a better way to start this update than to talk about the changes that are coming to this channel? I'm not sure how many of you noticed this, but I silently cleaned up the channel a bit recently. A majority of my old videos from 2016, 17, and 18 are currently unlisted and put into a playlist on the channel. That's about half of my videos, a little less than that, but about half of my videos are in that playlist. Some of you are probably wondering, why didn't I just delete them? But I kinda just wanted to keep them archived somewhere. A lot of my videos are fucking terrible, they're all badly made, stupid, and edgy, but I want to preserve them. Even if I'm not proud of them, I want them to still be accessible to the public, but not YouTube's search algorithm. Now, not every video from that time period is in that playlist. There's certain ones I still kept just available on the channel, just for the hell of it. And there's some that were actually removed by YouTube for, I guess, being a little too edgy. So, there's other videos in that playlist that I personally removed myself, and I'm planning to re-upload them with some small changes, just so they can still be on the playlist, but not risk another strike. That's the last thing I want, honestly. Now, besides preservation, I also wanted to clean up the channel a bit, because I'm also sort of trying to go into a newish direction from this point onward. Like all the dumb shit posts that I made all the time, those aren't going anywhere, I'm still gonna be making those. But I want to make more content that has better longevity, has more effort put into it, and just generally stuff I'm more passionate about than fucking Johnny Test, ground bricks. I want to make better content than that. I don't have anything concrete just yet, but I've been toying around with different ideas. I've been mainly thinking of doing game reviews. That's something I've always really enjoyed the idea of making. I've made joke reviews in the past, but I would love to make more genuine ones. I have a few ideas written down, like maybe retrospectives on some classic games I really like, or maybe covering newer games I've played in recent memory. Hell, I might even talk about Pokemon games. Okay, maybe not that. As you can probably tell by pretty much my entire channel, my two major passions are video games and animation. My goal with the channel moving forward is to find ways to bring those two passions together. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to approach that, but I'm going to still make attempts at doing it. That's something that I've always wanted to do with the channel, even since the beginning. I just didn't really have the talent or resources at the time. Speaking of animation, oh yeah, that's a thing I do, I think. Honestly, it's been a while since I've put out an actual animation, and I'm really planning to change that. I've had a few particular ideas for cartoons over the past few years that I've just been dying to get started on. No promises that I'll put out, like, several this year, but I am setting a personal goal for myself, at least 1 to 2 cartoons a year. That sounds relatively doable for me, and one of those cartoons that I have planned this year, and I would say the main cartoon I have planned for this year, is a very special project that I feel like has been long overdue for an update, and that is Sam Nestar Intermission. If you're not aware, last year I kind of announced on my community page that I was working on a follow-up to Subterranean Terror, which you should go check out, by the way, if you haven't already. Please, I worked very hard on it. But after I announced it, I sort of just went silent on the state of Intermission, and I am sorry for leaving you all in the dark about that. No, Intermission is not cancelled. It was just kind of in production limbo for the past year. I had a lot going on last year, which I'm probably going to touch on later in the video, and Intermission wasn't really a top priority for me. But I am excited to tell you all that it's going to be back in production, and there's 3 very important things you guys need to know about. 1, it's going to be about 15 minutes long. The length may increase or decrease depending on how editing goes, but rest assured it's not going to be almost half an hour long like the last episode was. 2, the art style is gonna be changed a bit for the next episode. I'm leaning away from the overly detailed, shiny, shaded style of Subterranean Terror, and leaning more towards something akin to the pilot, where it's kind of simplified. Not overly simple, but just something that's more animator-friendly, if that makes any sense. It allows me to have an easier time drawing it and keeping things consistent. God knows I need to make the art style consistent, because last episode was a fucking mess. I worked on that for the span of a year, and the art style changed like 4 times during it, and again closer to the end because I rushed it so it would release on Halloween. I'm trying to avoid making those kind of mistakes from this point onward. I know I'm just one person, so I can't really be expected to make absolute perfection, but I'm gonna try and improve where I can, and, you know, minimize the flaws of previous works of mine. And lastly, and this is probably the biggest thing, 3. This is gonna be the first Sam Nestor cartoon to feature actual voice acting, provided by me and a few friends that I managed to get on board this project.
What the? Why you? Yeah!
Hey, who's the green one? He's kinda cute.
Damn it! How did you escape?
But where did you get that? For what we're doing later, yes, but for how to escape, nope.
I am extremely grateful to have these people joining me to work on this passion project. I'm looking forward to seeing who else I can get on board with this. It's really fun working with people on this, and it makes me really happy seeing this come to fruition after years of struggling to get it off the ground. If everything goes as expected, I can potentially finish this cartoon by around summer, maybe the start of fall. This cartoon is going to be done in the same format as the past Sam Nestor episodes. The motion comic format helps a lot when it comes to speeding up the production. I was originally going to try making this cartoon on fully new software. Over the last few months, I've been slowly trying to transition away from Flip-A-Clip, Ibis Paint X, and Power Director, which have been my editing softwares and art softwares for years now, almost half a decade, if not more. But I've also been wanting to learn softwares like Blender, Clip Studio, Adobe Premiere. The last thing I want is this cartoon's quality to suffer because of this transition to new software. This cartoon will likely be one of the last major projects I make on these softwares, and I'm currently in the process of archiving whatever I have on these softwares to Google Drive.
Oh my goodness! Squidward!
But I want to get intermission done sooner. I want you guys to have it, you know, within this time frame. So I'm going to be working on this cartoon on the software I'm used to, but I'm still going to be trying to learn those newer softwares behind the scenes. The last thing I want is intermission's quality to suffer because of a transition to newer software, while I'm also scrambling to get this cartoon done within the time I want it to. This will likely be one of the last major projects I make on my phone. I have a laptop, I got one a few years ago, and I'm trying to learn those new softwares so I can make better videos, better cartoons on there. But I want to stick with what I'm used to for Sam Nestor for at least this episode, so I can make it the best cartoon that it can possibly be. Just 2 more things before we wrap up. I'm back on Twitter. I don't think you guys knew this or not, but I am. I recently rejoined earlier this year. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you followed me. Also, I'm considering reopening the SUNNIE64 Discord server. I closed it a couple years ago mainly because it wasn't even really being used and I was losing interest in it, but I've been considering bringing it back, you know, and maybe doing more with it. I'm not entirely sure what, but I would love to have some fun with it. To wrap things up, this point onward is going to be a bit of a transitional period for the channel, leaning more towards animation and higher scale content. Just stuff that I'm more passionate about, because a channel about shitposts isn't really what I want to be anymore. That's like SNES Bro. I'm SUNNIE64. We're 2 different people, really. And I kind of was thinking about this a lot last year. If I'm going to be honest, 2022 was a pretty rough year for me. I was busy with a lot of things in my personal life, and I was at my lowest point mentally. Especially in the latter half of the year, my headspace was just not great. I won't bore you with the details, but because of all what was going on, I couldn't really make videos I felt particularly passionate for. I just kind of threw out random shit posts that were funny in the moment, but my heart just wasn't really in any of it. But despite all that, my channel actually got to 1,000 subs last year. I didn't expect it to, but it did. And I know I say this all the time, but for that, I gotta thank you all for supporting me. I really do appreciate it a lot. I always kind of felt like YouTube was the one place I could actually have my voice heard, and for that, I want to bring you guys some better content this year. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks. I've been SUNNIE64, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. I don't fucking know.
SpongeBob movie game.